How's it going, ladies and Bruce? I'm Bob Sixkilla and welcome back finally to Not For Broadcast. The final chapter is out as of today. It's out of early access. The game is complete and able to be played from start to finish. So we're going to jump in and play the final chapter because I've been waiting for this for quite some time. It's been quite a while since we had an update on this one, but I think it's definitely going to be in the running for one of my top games for the year now that it's out in full, because it's just been so good. And I imagine there's many outcomes at the very end that it can come out as, depending on your choices, because the choices have been changing pretty dramatically how you approach the game. So it should be interesting to see how it all shakes out and how much replay value there's going to be. Let's jump in, shall we? Day 371, a proportionate response. You'll forgive me if I don't remember exactly what happened last time, because it's been a while. Like, a long while. And I think we had those filler episodes too, for maybe the last time or the time before that. I don't know. We'll catch up as we go. Day 371, a proportionate response. The result of your shift passes in a blur, with the same words going around and around in your head. Operatives working for advanced detonated nuclear explosives? Initial estimates put the death toll into the millions? Did this really just happen? You pull into the driveway with no memory of the journey home. The light in the front room is on. Clearly someone else is still awake. The door creaks open to the living room and you find Sam sitting on the sofa staring at the TV. The screen is off and they're clearly lost in thought. You take a seat beside them and put a reassuring hand on their shoulder. They don't look at you, but they do reach up to take your hand in theirs. Now you're closer, you can see the tears flowing freely down Sam's face. Our little girl. I don't know what to do. What the hell can we do? The bastards killed Susie and millions of others, all because of their fucking war, which you never asked for. Behind the tears you see a fire, raw fury you've never seen in Sam before. I hate them, Alex. I know you've never been a fan of Advance, but after this, they're monsters. I need you to understand that we can't just be indifferent. We need to actually do something. Ooh. Nothing can justify what they did, and anyone who tries is just as bad as they are. Relief spreads across Sam's face like a wave, and they collapse against you, clutching tightly. Clearly this was weighing heavily on them. You're not sure you've even processed it all fully yet, but at least you get through it together. A final farewell. Also, I don't know how long this is going to be, or whether I should break it up into multiple episodes, or how that's going to work, but we'll figure it out as we go. The last week has passed in a blur. A rush of things to do, but all immediately forgotten. Your memory clouded by a dark fog. 9 days since the so-called Liberation Night and the beginning of Advance's new future. You weren't the first ones at the church today. You were staggered by the number of people who have come to mourn with you. Everyone here for the same reason, sharing the same pain, the same sense of loss. It's written all over their faces, much as it would be on yours. You step away from everyone else, needing space to gather your thoughts. Your daughter, poor little Susie, gone. Sam has said little since that evening. They're still getting over the shock. But when you walk over and squeeze their hand, they squeeze back tightly. You'll get through this together. You can only imagine how awful it would be to face this alone. There hadn't even been a coffin to bury. Day 713, an academic exodus. It's a seemingly ordinary morning, but as you get into work, you find a small crowd gathered in the break room. When you go in to grab your first cup of tea for the day, you can't help but overhear some excited chatter. You didn't hear? Yeah, another one's gone missing. What's that bring the total up to now? Oh, I should think over 100 at this point. They won't all have been reported or noticed yet. Sorry, what's going on? An excited young woman turns to you and begins to explain. Another professor went missing from Queensview University, with all the other disappearances over the last year. Scientists, doctors, researchers. She pauses before lowering her voice to a whisper. It's clearly Disrupt targeting the people speaking out against them. I even heard Advance is struggling to prevent further. A deep familiar voice from behind you interrupts. What exactly is going on here? The silence overtakes the room as you all turn in unison toward the doorway. Roseman clears his voice before continuing. I've told you before, I don't want to hear about these so-called disappearances. Come on now, people. Advance have been very clear that they're nothing to worry about, which means they're not our problem. And unless they start classing cappuccinos as intellectual, I don't think anyone here has anything to worry about. Let's get back to work. Roseman holds up a hand to keep you, as everyone else, files out of the room. Look, I know you have a habit of doing what you want, but things are different now. Advance runs the show and they've made their feelings clear, so now I'm doing the same. Channel 1's official position is that the government has things well in hand, nothing more, nothing less. I trust I won't be hearing talk about this again. He gives you a curt nod before leaving. It seems that for better or worse, public ownership is now in full swing. Day 850, a career in the making. You drum your fingers on the steering wheel impatiently as you wait for Charlie again. That's great, he's enjoying the Cohesion Cadets and is so enthusiastic, but does he really need to stay behind every week to help? It's your Saturday evening too, after all. Finally, you see him exit the hall, a grin on his face. You can't help but smile back, the frustration's starting to fade as you see him so genuinely happy. After hugging his friends goodbye, Charlie heads over to the car and gets in, his face flushed with excitement. So how was... You're interrupted as he can't contain himself any longer. Guess what? What? You play along with a smile. So obviously the Cohesion Cadets is a starting point for becoming a CCO, and we get a head start when applying for that. Charlie gushes, clearly keen on explaining his news, almost tripping over the words in his effort to tell you. Well, apparently from next year the top 5% of cadets will be taken into a special program to become CCMs, Community Cohesion Managers, and guess who's going to be in it? He beams at you. I see, and what exactly do these Community Cohesion Managers do? Oh well, basically they need a new liaison team between regular people and CCOs, and the Betterment Department. That'll be us. People come to us with concerns and we'll decide whether they need referrals, and if so, to which department. Cool, right? So you're going to be helping people report on their friends and neighbours? Well, yeah, I guess, but only bad people. It's about helping the community, making it safer for everyone. Charlie frowns at you. You don't like the CCOs or the betterment teams? I'm just worried about them having that much power and turning people against each other. Just like the police. You're starting to sound like the people that Advance are trying to help. Charlie looks at you, a serious expression on his face. Don't worry, I'll make sure everyone gets the support they need. This is a good thing for the community, and the team will be able to help everyone. He nods to himself and sits back in his seat. The mood in the car is somewhat icy for the rest of the journey home. You hope it's not a sign of where things are going. Day 872, a spark to light the flames. Oh, here we go. You're surprised to find Sam in bed next to you when you wake up. They must have gotten very late last night from drinks with the folks from school. You decide to let them sleep in and enjoy a lazy Sunday morning. With the house quiet, you decide to bring some breakfast into the living room and watch some TV while you eat. This is breaking news. Reports are coming from across the country that large swaths of farmland went up in flames last night as part of what authorities are calling a heinous and well-planned act of terrorism by a group known as Disrupt. You drop your spoon back into the porridge and turn up the volume. In addition to food stores, which government sources have said will put a strain on the universal menu centres countrywide, a number of CCO and civic buildings were targeted in last night's attack. According to Prime Minister Julia Salisbury, specific prisons and re-education and betterment facilities were raided, and a small selection of problematic and potentially dangerous individuals were forcibly extracted from lawful custody. You hold your breath waiting to hear if anyone got hurt. Unfortunately, it appears that the CCOs were ill-prepared for an event like this, and Disrupt seemed much more effective and well-organised in comparison. While most of the targeted locations were thankfully empty of people, given the lateness of the hour, the betterment centres were fully staffed when they came under attack. 17 CCOs and 4 administrative staff lost their lives as a result of the brutal actions of Disrupt last night, with countless more injured, many seriously, and rushed to hospital. A few Disrupt members were captured during the conflicts, but the vast majority seem to have evaded capture so far. More on the story as it develops. You go to turn off the TV. You're interrupted by Charlie walking past the living room, bleary-eyed with a piece of toast. Anything interesting going on? Mutely, you leave the news on as you cycle through the story again. Charlie watches in a hushed silence. By the end of the broadcast, they're dubbing it the Night of Fire. Everything's going to be okay, right? I hope so. We'll have to see. I don't want to, I want to be supportive, but I don't want to, you know, lie. But I do hope so. Oh, we got an actual broadcast now. Let's do it. This should be hilarious. I hope. Because that was pretty grim up until now. Day 912, the uprising. Interesting. A year and a half since Liberation Night.
Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Alex? Are you receiving? This is Alan James. The revolution starts tonight, Alex, and we need your help. Throughout this broadcast, we're going to ask you to do things that will directly help with this mass protest. I'll be talking to you regularly tonight, and I'll also be hacking you when I can. Please help get our message out. We're on the verge, Alex. You've always been fair and balanced in your approach to us. With your help, we can tip the balance in our favor. If you play our tape at the second break, that's when we think it will have the most impact. It's on your right.
We're gonna have Crazy Neil up in here.
Followed at 10 p.m. by a chance to see the very last episode of Just the Job.
So what?
How's he doing?
How should I know?
What, you haven't heard from him?
He's a wanted criminal, Colin.
So's my nan, but she never misses her birthday.
Your grandmother's on the run, Colin.
Yeah. Armed robbery, resisting arrest, double homicide of the same bloke. She's right, laugh.
I hope he's alright, though.
I don't remember how this works.
And your brother was fine.
Going in 10 seconds, everybody.
I wonder what they're doing to him. Annoying him, probably.
Not probably, definitely.
Going
in 5, 4,
Okay.
3.
Alright, I'm ready.
Good evening. This is the National Nightly News broadcasting across the territories. My name is Megan Wolf. Our top stories tonight. Future legend. It's been 40 days since Disrupt conducted multiple attacks across the territories. During the coordinated action, subsequently dubbed the Night of Fire, emergency services were kept busy at the agricultural centres, while a series of covert attacks were carried out freeing political prisoners, including former newsman Jeremy Donaldson. Nothing has been heard from the missing journalist since the violent Disrupt attack on his convoy 6 weeks ago. Donaldson was on his way back to Betterment after his notorious court appearance. All of us here at Channel 1 hope that wherever he is now, he's safe.
Yeah, man.
Food, glorious food. With the last of the menu centres opening in territories 5, 8 and 14 today, Advance confirmed that the programme is now in full operation, providing free food for every citizen of the new future. What started as rationing during the 20-week war has blossomed into a
kick
social
Advance's
contract
ass.
that is the envy of the unawakened world. Jack Tractorpants, spokesman for the menu centres, said today that while
Jack
they
Tractorpants.
can guarantee the contents of every box is nutritious, the actual quality of the meals you cook depends on whether you have a touch of Chef Jordan Rankley or the culinary skills of a professional footballer. If I were a rich man, problems in territories 11, 17 and 22 today as striking bosses attempted to undermine their new economies. With seemingly no awareness of irony, the former CEOs and MDs have come together to form the Wealth Creators Union, with demands including a return to 150% bonuses, private jets and mandatory grovelling zones. In an annoying show of petulance, the former elites drove their luxury vehicles at 10 miles per hour up and down the motorways of their respective territories. The coordinated protest of elites inconvenienced several 100,000 of their employees.
So there won't be much talking for me on this one.
Some fun now.
we
Signs
gotta
of
listen.
ever more resistance to Advance's radical policies today, as popular resistance movement Disrupt extended their reach further across the territories. The organisation's emblem
On the
appeared in
panda.
every major city across the territories last night in a well-coordinated publicity stunt, which has seen them dominate the headlines. Asked about the impressive display earlier today, Disrupt spokesperson Alan James said that the movement was reaching what he described as a critical mass. A poor choice of words given recent history.
Yeah.
And
the
final
nukes.
headlines tonight for 3 stories we've been following closely for the last 2.5 years. Foreign soil. A glimpse today of failed CEO Sophia Remington, who, facing
These are the
serious
same.
criminal charges centred around the details of her pet project, has spent the last year in refuge at the Malvalian Embassy here in the capital. With no end in sight to her self-imposed isolation, the board of Remington's Fist removed her as CEO in absentia this morning by a unanimous vote. Sophia was heard to yell something obscene in Malvalian at the assembled journalists before slinking back inside.
These people are hilarious.
We didn't catch all of it, but it was something about our mother and a goat. Wrong, but not forgotten. The scientific community today remembers the loss of the many celebrated
This is the same tune.
who lost their lives in a rash escape from Dante's taint 1 year ago.
Dante's taint.
The costly voyage, led by David Wong, was recklessly hasty, and while a handful of survivors made it home, the casualties were considerable. Among the dead were noted prize-winning marine biologist Ingrid Svorsborg Horgensvoord and a bunch
I
of
forgot about
animals.
that.
They will be missed. Man on. Footballer Johnny Handsleeves and his new wife Tiffany Lamour proudly announced today that their little team was 1-0 up at full time.
Is this going to keep going
Which apparently
forever?
means that they're having a baby. Once beset by tabloid
I didn't even give you
controversy,
choices
Johnny
now.
seems to be settling well
Taking my
into family
choices away,
life,
you bastard.
calling this latest news the ultimate golden goal. If a golden goal also peed on you. All that, plus we'll be taking a trip to Dangley Parts for the notice board, as well as getting a sneak peek at the hottest ticket in town. That's all coming up on tonight's National Nightly News.
Oh. What am I doing? Where's the two things?
Block the traffic. Bring the capital to a standstill. I've met so many of you in my travels up and down territory when you always ask the same question. How can I help?
This is not good.
You can ask again. You'll know. Keep watching.
I made a big bed.
But first, 500 days after the loss of a fine leader and a great man, the start of tonight's
That was
programme is
bad.
dedicated to remembering
I've forgotten how
and
everything works.
celebrating the life of Peter Clement. Patrick Bannon is live from Parliament Park, where Julia Salisbury will be breaking ground on what will soon be a memorial garden in Peter's honour. Patrick.
Listening to that old bitch lying through her teeth about missing that poor bastard.
Patrick.
I don't know what I'm going to do.
We're live.
Because I'm not being funny. Things were better with Peter, weren't they?
Patrick.
They were, and I don't mind saying it. They were, because he held her back. But now there's no stopping her.
Hello, Patrick. We're
Of
live.
course, can't say that, can I, Francis? No, not with public ownership. No, with public ownership, you can't say anything these days. She's lost it, mate. She's completely off the rocker.
I don't mean to be censoring this bullshit, but it's TV gold.
Hello, Megan. You join me here live from the what? Hello, Megan. You join me here live from the what?
Lost some signal there for a moment. Well, we will be going live to that groundbreaking ceremony just as soon as we can get Patrick back. Meanwhile, let me just say, I think the
This is going to be my
memorial
last day of the
is
job anyway, so fuck
I've
him.
had a sneak peek at the designs, and Alana Marsh has done a fabulous job. Oh, okay, all right. It seems like we have got the signal back. We can now go live to Patrick Bannon in Parliament Park. Patrick.
Thank you, Megan. I'm Patrick Bannon.
Are you?
And we are indeed live.
What happened to Patrick Bannon?
Here. Apologies for the technical difficulties there, but any moment now, Julia Salisbury will step out on stage behind me.
Alex, Bozeman here. The boys in editing have just informed me that the eulogy footage isn't fully cut together yet. You're going to have to do it on the fly.
God damn it.
For goodness sake, make sure you make him look good.
Slowly gathering
Yeah.
this afternoon.
This is Alan. You can undermine them here and help us win hearts and minds. Make him look bad, Alex. Really bad.
How?
And it seems like
trying to
the
make him look
ceremony is
bad.
getting underway. Here is Prime Minister Julia Salisbury, the picture of elegance, to begin her address.
Good evening, fellow teammates and friends. 500 days ago, all of our lives changed irrevocably. Still reeling from the triumphs and tribulations of Liberation Night, another great loss befell the people of these newly united territories. The loss of a leader, a statesman, a dear friend, and a hero. Peter Gordon Clement.
Peter's death at the age of just 62, of course, announced by the team on the 24th of December, just 6 weeks after Liberation Night.
Born to a working-class family on a housing estate in Rotherham, Peter first trained as a carpenter before getting his start on television, first moving and building scenery, and then developing into the personality that we all knew and loved so much.
Just the Job first hit our screens over 25 years ago, running for 11 series, winning multiple awards, and charming audiences up and down the country.
Peter taught us all of us, not to be content with the way things are, not to accept inequities, no matter how small. But he also taught us what it took to fight them. Courage, integrity, empathy, and hard, bloody graft.
Across a career spanning 3 decades, Peter Clement was known for shows including Wake Up, It's Saturday, and much later, late night chat show PT, which at its peak drew millions of viewers.
Peter was by no means a saint. Trust me, he once told me he had more regrets than he'd had stolen dinners. He always did have a knack for a turn of phrase. But it speaks to the strength of his character.
I'm getting my ratings back. We're making him look terrible.
Share with us his mistakes
this is going really well.
alongside his achievements, his faults as well as his talents. Peter had the heart to give it all he had for the people of these united territories.
He's an angry man.
Famous for his potty mouth, it's estimated conservatively that Peter Clement uttered over 1.5 million swear words during his career, though some sources put this figure well in excess of 2 million F-bombs alone.
Gripped by illness as he was in the weeks and months leading up to Liberation Night, he wasn't the man we loved. But his eyes still twinkled.
I'm trying to figure out which ones to make him look worse. It's quite difficult.
Wit and wisdom of a life lived for others.
Prime Minister Clement, of course, died from apparent liver failure after suffering from the long-term
he's a
effects
pussy, man.
of alcohol abuse.
He's always on the sauce.
I first met Peter nearly 20 years ago. Moments before I was supposed to give a speech. Not unlike this one, actually. Only I'd spilled coffee all down myself. And I was young, nervous, desperate to be liked. And from behind me, I heard, "Christ, pet, you've either pissed your kecks or sprung a leak, but either way, you got a problem." And before I could even say a word, he stripped off his dry trousers and insisted I took them. That was the sort of man that Peter Clement was. Kind, compassionate,
drunk,
sensitive,
swearing,
a brilliant thinker, a natural leader, but mostly a good man.
How have we got so much footage of him being an arsehole?
This glorious, beautiful and new, this shining beacon of
Thank you, Alex. There'll be another opportunity to steer public perception soon. It's really
You know they're going to have me killed, right?
You'll know when.
his accomplishments.
I totally did.
The future he forged, the boundaries he pushed. To me, he'll always be the man in his pants cheering on a stranger at the back of the conference. It is my great honour to give to you the Peter Clement Memorial Garden. Should we see if we can get a countdown going?
Yeah, let's see that.
Everyone with me? 10, 9, 8.
Is it going to be apocalyptically bad? Yes. Yes, it is.
Now, Alex, control the message.
Mom, we have...
I'm not leaving, I can't! You two, come with me! Don't panic!
You're hurting me!
Well, stop resisting then! Stop resisting!
Control the message? You mean lie?
What are you doing?
I'm not resisting! You're not! I'm not resisting!
And if I give you an order, you will damn well follow it. Do you understand? Do you understand?
Yes, Mom!
Keep your eyes open.
Look at me, look at me, stay with me, help.
I can't hear anything!
Medics are coming, you sit
Oh,
down.
Jesus, what happened to replacement Patrick?
Well, then you can consider this payback. Salisbury's still here! Julius Salisbury! You were guilty of the murder of more than 10 million people! Justice demands a response!
Haven't you done enough? Look around you!
Fucking
This is what your precious freedom
bottom looks like it's on fire!
Rise up! Take to the streets, the time has come! Stop fires! Break windows! Draw them out! They can't stop us all! Resist! Distract me!
Lower your weapons!
Mom?
I said, lower your weapons!
Come on, get out there! What are you doing? Come on!
Stop shooting everybody, for fuck's sakes.
Shut it off. I said turn it off. I said turn it off.
Shocking scenes from the capital there, exclusively on the National Nightly News.
Jesus.
And our apologies to any of our viewers who might have found this evening's events upsetting. But at the National Nightly News, we believe in bringing you the raw, unedited truth as it happens. And we make no apologies for that.
Truth.
We'll update you on the latest from this disrupt attack.
Whatever
later
truth
in
I
the
feel like
programme,
giving you.
But when we come back, it's time for happier pursuits. And you know what that means by now. Don't go away. We'll be back after this.
That didn't go so well, Alex. But we can turn it around in the next segment.
What do you mean? I did good. Shut up.
This is becoming a weekly event.
Crazy deal.
Alley in a dumpster, but that doesn't matter. I found forks. They've already been used once. I've licked them clean. You can get knives too. Buy a fork, get a knife. Get a knife, buy a fork. Forks, knives. We don't have spoons. It's crazy news. Another steal of a
You don't have
deal. We got sticks. We got sticks that do tricks. We got an evil child. This is my young niece, Felicia. Small, nimble, agile. She can get through a dog flap, cat flap, rabbit flap, rat trap, mouse trap. All you gotta do is feed her once a day. She'll eat anything. Scraps, food off your plate, food out the bin, dog food. This is a steal of a deal to have a family member stealing for you. Buy crazy deal. We got sticks. Buy our sticks. Buy our motherfucking sticks. We've got empty toilet rolls. Some are crushed, some are squashed, some are
Buy our
some aren't even
motherfucking
cardboard.
sticks.
Some of them are just grit in a bag. We'll beat you with the fucking
Alex,
sticks if you come
during this next section, a cameraman working in the newsroom who's one of us is going to get a coded location out. We don't know yet which camera he's on, but if we find out, I'll let you know. Just keep your eyes out for the fist and try and keep it on the air for at least 5 seconds. Our operatives will do the rest.
Come on down. It's Crazy Neil with a begging appeal because there's been no deal for Neil. And have a crazy time at Crazy Neil's going out of business deal.
All right. We're gonna stop this one here because we're at about half an hour. So I guess we'll do one segment per episode, sort of thing. I know that went very badly, but fuck it. Let's just see how it turns out at the end, shall we? I always like to get a surprise, you know. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you in the next one.